If you don't change your approach to your goals today, a year from now, you might still find yourself at the starting line, constantly busy, but making little real progress. This isn't meant to pressure you. It's simply a common reality for many adults. Despite juggling work, family, health, and personal dreams, the feeling of always busy but never moving forward keeps repeating itself. It's not because you lack determination, but because you've relied too much on willpower and fleeting motivation, both of which naturally fluctuate with your emotions and energy. Stoic philosophy reminds us that to go far, you need a system. As the philosopher Zeno of Citium said, well-being is realized by small steps, but is truly no small thing. When you build the right system, you'll keep moving forward even on days when your motivation runs dry. If you keep following this video, you'll learn how to build a personal system to turn every goal into tangible results. This is the secret that will help you stay steady in the face of challenges, live resiliently, and cultivate true freedom from within. Get ready because what's coming next could truly change the way you conquer your goals. 1. Identify the core problem. Don't identify the core problem. Don't rely only on willpower. Rely only on willpower. Have you ever silently wondered what's their secret? Watching a coworker finish everything before the deadline? A friend staying fit despite a packed schedule? Or someone who wakes up early, meditates, exercises, always looking energetic while you're still battling your alarm? Groggy and struggling to get up. Sometimes you feel envy, even self-blame. If I can't even manage a 30-minute walk in the sun, how can I hope for something bigger? Pause before you judge yourself further. In reality, the secret of those who sustain lasting achievements isn't extraordinary willpower or special talent. They simply understand one thing that most of us overlook. Willpower only takes you a few days. A system is what carries you for life. We often start with good intentions. I need to exercise. I should learn a new skill. I must eat healthier. Everyone wants to live better. Many then turn intentions into plans. I'll go to the gym tonight. After work, I'll study English for 30 minutes. Tomorrow, I'll wake up early to read. Sounds reasonable, but all of this relies on temporary willpower and motivation. Things that quickly run dry once real life gets in the way. Anyone who's felt exhausted after a long day of work, stress, family, and deadlines knows there are times when you have zero energy left for those good intentions. After a tiring day, a pile of work, sick kids, traffic jams, or simply a down mood, all your plans burst like soap bubbles. All you want is to scroll your phone, eat something tasty, or sprawl on the couch. I'll start again tomorrow. And then tomorrow looks just like today. Why does this cycle repeat? Most of us grew up believing success is a matter of willpower. If you don't achieve something, you think you weren't determined enough. Society idolizes iron will, those who overcome all odds with sheer spirit. But real life is much more complicated. Think back to a goal you once failed at. Working out regularly, reading every day, drinking less, learning a new skill. In the first week, you're determined. Then work gets busy. Health dips, meetings pile up, mood swings hit, and you give up. You fall back into old habits, and self-blame returns. This loop erodes your confidence. You think you're not strong enough or less than others. The truth is, any plan based solely on willpower is fragile. Like building a house on sand, the lightest wind can bring it down. When you look at people who stick to habits and finish their goals, you'll see they don't rely on inspiration or willpower. They build a system. So, what is a system? It's how you organize your environment, schedule, habits, and touch points throughout the day so that action happens almost automatically, regardless of your mood. They don't ask, "Should I go to the gym today?" Because everything is ready from the night before, and going to the gym is just a natural part of the day. They don't wait for motivation to study a language. They slot it into a fixed time like a small ritual. They keep lowering barriers so the brain doesn't have to struggle with choices. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, suffered a serious injury thinking he'd never play sports again. He didn't rebuild his life with sheer will. He built a system. Daily rehab, reading, note-taking, repeating, not powered by a burst of determination, but by steady, consistent systems that outlasted every bad mood. Ask yourself, how many times have you promised to change but didn't follow through? How many detailed plans have you made only to abandon them halfway? The problem isn't you, it's the method. Willpower can't fight off busyness, fatigue, or life's surprises. But a good system, no matter how busy or moody you are, keeps moving you forward. Thousands of years ago, Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminded us, "No great thing is created suddenly any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. Nothing great happens instantly. You need a process, patience, and a system. Start with small steps. Lay out your running shoes by your bedroom door. Prep a healthy breakfast the night before. Read for 10 minutes before bed. Or just write down your top 3 priorities every morning. No big overhaul needed, just consistency. A good system will self-adjust, pulling you forward even on tough days. Every failure is just feedback to optimize your system, not proof of your weakness. Life will always be unpredictable. Moods will swing, willpower will fade, but with a solid system, you'll go much farther than you ever imagined. The core issue isn't a lack of determination. You simply lack an effective system. Once you understand this, you'll stop blaming yourself and start building an orderly, proactive, ever-improving life, step by step, day by day, no matter the storm. That's the sustainable secret and the Stoic spirit for our modern times. 2 foundational concept systems. Foundational concept. Systems thinking. Thinking. Have you ever tried to push a car uphill? At first, every step is exhausting. Your breath is short and sweat pours out, even though the car barely budges. But once the car reaches the top, let go and it will roll downhill on its own. You don't have to push anymore. That's the difference between living on willpower and living by a system. Most of us are pushing the car uphill every day, straining to get things done, fighting not to give up. But have you ever thought of building a track for your car so it keeps rolling forward even when you're out of energy? That's the essence of systems thinking. Systems thinking isn't about pushing harder. It's about stopping to build the track. A mechanism that means you're no longer dependent on willpower or temporary feelings. Instead of asking, how can I get motivated to work out every day? You'll ask, how can I make working out a natural part of life with zero thinking required? Simply put, you stop forcing every action and instead design your environment and connect routines. So, big goals take shape through small, stable, repeated steps. Picture a system as a smart production line. Each link does a tiny job, but all connect smoothly. The whole line runs on its own and no one has to push it along. That's why some people keep their figure for years, never skipping a workout, or a coworker always finishes work on time without burning out. They don't run on inspiration, they run on a system. So what is a system really? A system is the sum of your processes, habits, environment, and touchpoints deliberately arranged, leading you to your goal almost automatically. Unlike a plan, which is just a drawing on paper, a system is a machine in motion. You actively assemble, test, adjust, and optimize it to serve your life. For example, instead of just deciding to read every night, a systems thinker will put the book at their bedside. Leave their phone in another room to eliminate distractions. Set a fixed time, maybe with a gentle alarm. Let the family know it's reading time. Once everything is in place, you don't have to fight temptations or talk yourself into it. Each action flows naturally into the next like dominoes. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Stop endlessly debating your goals. Build your process. Let your system carry you. And let action become your identity." A good system has 3 core features. Minimizes friction. Every action should be as easy as possible. Want to exercise? Lay out your clothes and shoes in advance. Want to eat healthy? Prep your meals ahead so you don't have to choose when you're tired or hungry. Reduces dependence on motivation. When tasks are installed in your schedule and your environment prompts the right behavior, you no longer ask yourself, should I do this every day? Boosts stability. A system allows you to stick to your goals regardless of mood, health, or emotional ups and downs. Reflect on your past failures. You wanted to learn Spanish, signed up for an online course, but gave up because each day you had to decide, should I study? What time? Where? For how long? This chaos, This lack of process is the greatest friction. On the other hand, a good system simplifies everything. 700 p.m., you sit at your usual desk, open your book, study for 15 minutes, then tick it off your checklist. Same time every day. No mental struggle, no superhuman motivation needed. When the system is running, you'll go further than willpower ever could. Many think a system is something complex just for big businesses or those obsessed with self-improvement. In reality, the simplest systems are just small habits repeated at the same time every day, prepping for tomorrow, setting clear work and rest boundaries, self-auditing and tracking your progress. A good system actually makes your life simpler, not more complicated. Maybe you're wondering, can I really do this? Is there room for systems in a life this busy and unpredictable? In truth, without a system, it's the surprises and hassles that will sweep you away, erasing every intention and plan. But with the right system, every unexpected event is just a minor bump. You may veer off track, but your car keeps rolling forward. So stop chasing motivation. See your life as a chain of links. Ask, what's causing the most friction in the habit I want to build? How can I make it a natural part of life without having to think or remind myself every day? That's when you switch to systems thinking, moving from someone who merely tries to someone who designs a life where goals blossom automatically step by step, day by day. Don't just keep trying. Build a system and let it work for you, even when you're out of strength. That's the solid foundation for all achievement, big or small. If you rely only on willpower, reaching your goals is like rowing a tiny boat on the open sea. The harder you row, the more exhausted you get. But you never see the shore. But if you want every step to feel natural, you need a different map. That's when the 3 principles of systems thinking come in like compasses. They help you navigate and keep you from drifting on the ever-changing seas of your own willpower. So what are these 3 principles? How can they completely transform the way you achieve your goals? 3. Principle 1. Holistic thinking. Principle 1. Holistic thinking. First, let's start with the very first principle, holistic thinking. To achieve sustainable goals, you must learn to see the big picture, not just focus on the tiny parts. This is the foundation many people overlook when trying to build systems for self-change, work, health, or relationships. Countless people get stuck on the question, how do I do it? Then set goals, make schedules, and summon up determination. But in reality, no matter how clear your goals are or how detailed your plan is, if you only care about what and when, failure is always lurking. Why? Because life never unfolds perfectly as planned. Small things like traffic jams, fatigue, unexpected favors, late work messages, or even a sudden wave of sleepiness can derail your plans. The truth is, each person is a complex ecosystem. Energy, emotions, habits, responsibilities, and randomness all affect your results. Instead of just asking, how do I do it? Challenge yourself on a deeper level. What has caused me to fail before? How do I react when I'm tired? Which factors are most likely to break my plans? What do I truly need to succeed even when things aren't ideal? This is the holistic approach. Not seeing yourself as a willpower machine, but as an ecosystem influenced by countless factors: sleep, meals, relationships, living environment, mental health, and endless unpredictability. Consider a familiar example. You set the goal to study or improve your skills after work. In your mind, you think you just need to get home, open a book or laptop, and spend 30 minutes. But in reality, there are plenty of days when you're stuck in rush hour, getting home completely drained. Some days, your family needs you. Your kids are fussy, your spouse wants to talk, your parents want to check in. At that point, the idea of studying is just a faded line swept away by reality. If you only look at the surface, you'll end up blaming yourself. I lack discipline. I don't know how to prioritize. Others can do it, but I can't. But the real problem is your system. It hasn't accounted for the inevitable variables, exhaustion, distractions, family responsibilities, and energy dips at the end of the day. So you must anticipate failure and proactively recognize all obstacles, external and internal, to build a truly comprehensive system. Maybe that means moving your study time to the morning when you're more alert, or simply scaling back your goal instead of 60 minutes, just 15 minutes a day, but consistently. If family interruptions are common, communicate in advance to establish a sacred time everyone respects. Stuck in traffic? Listen to podcasts or audio lessons, turning disadvantage into progress. Holistic thinking also helps you escape the feeling that failure means I'm inadequate. Instead of self-blame, you learn to observe your system, spot bottlenecks, and adjust. I'm always tired after 8 p.m., so I'll switch to studying early morning. Or I'm always distracted by my phone, so I'll leave it outside the room when I study. That's how you continuously optimize based on reality, not on an illusion of yourself. Applying this principle in life means you design everything around your goals instead of forcing yourself into impossible molds. Want to exercise but are always sleepy in the morning? Pick light workouts. Prep your gear the night before so when you wake up there's no thinking required. Friends keep inviting you out, breaking your habits. State your priorities. Create fixed routines so others get the memo. Holistic thinking isn't just a solution. It's the foundation for living proactively, not getting swept away. When you can see the whole picture, you become gentler with yourself after setbacks, because you know it's a natural part of the process. No one is perfect, but a good system always has room to breathe recovery mechanisms and doesn't demand you be a superhero. As the philosopher Seneca once said, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." Pause, observe, zoom out, then make decisions. When your personal system is built on a comprehensive understanding of yourself and your environment, every goal, big or small, becomes much more realistic, achievable, and resilient. And that's why to build a successful system, you have to start with holistic thinking. Know yourself, know others, know your circumstances so you can stay proactive through all storms, always moving forward. Principle 2. Repeatability. 4. Principle 2. Repeatability. But even with the big picture, you won't get far if every step forward means starting over from scratch. That's why after seeing the whole, you need the second principle, repeatability, turning small actions into the steady rhythm of your day. Have you ever made a perfect plan for the new week? Wake up early, hit the gym, eat healthy, work productively, only to have everything collapse by Wednesday. Maybe one morning you overslept after tossing and turning at night. Maybe you planned to study in the evening, but after work, you just wanted to collapse on the sofa and forget everything. You think, all right, I'll start fresh tomorrow. But tomorrow often looks just like today. The tug-of-war between wanting change and real-life fatigue gradually chips away at your faith in your ability to stick to any goal. The real issue isn't you. The problem is most of us design systems for ideal days when we're healthy, motivated, and everything goes smoothly. But life is full of bad days, sleepless nights, stress, unexpected family matters, rainy weather, or just an unexplained bad mood. A truly effective system must work smoothly even on days when you don't want to, can't, or don't have ideal conditions. This is the heart of repeatability. The system shouldn't work best on your best day, but must endure on your worst. Otherwise, sooner or later you'll fall into the cycle of quitting, starting over, failing, then blaming yourself all over again. So, how do you build such a system? First, you need to ensure the system cannot depend on inspiration or fleeting motivation. It can't demand high energy, because most of the time you can't sustain peak enthusiasm. It doesn't need ideal conditions. It can be executed with whatever you've got. Most importantly, it must work even when you don't feel like it on days when you're tired, discouraged, or simply out of spirit. People with a systems mindset constantly experiment and adjust. If studying at home doesn't work, try studying at the office after work before heading home. If the office is too noisy, try early mornings when your mind is fresh. If lack of sleep makes mornings impossible, optimize your bedtime routine. Cut phone use before bed and set an earlier device cutoff. If family schedules interfere, negotiate for quiet hours or share your goals so loved ones can support you. This isn't a one-and-done process. It's continuous optimization, always seeking the lowest friction solution for each situation. The aim is to make your system so easy, you almost can't not do it, no matter how tired, bored, or busy you are that day. This isn't just personal intuition. It's backed by science. Landmark research by Wendy Wood and David Neal, 2016, University of Southern California, found that over 40% of daily human actions are habits repeated almost automatically, not driven by willpower or motivation. Those who stick to their goals aren't the ones with the strongest willpower. They're the ones who build habits that can run under any circumstances. Their study underscores, a good system is a simple system, minimizing action barriers so you don't have to fight yourself every day. Practically, you can apply repeatability like this. If going to the gym every morning is impossible, just set a goal to walk for 10 minutes or simply do 10 push-ups at home. Just keep it consistent. If you can't find an hour to study, break it into 3 10-minute sessions or take advantage of commuting, waiting, or short breaks. If you feel stressed, allow yourself to just do a tiny part instead of giving up completely. The magic is when you consistently repeat even at the minimum level, your system grows stronger. The brain loves stability. The more it's used to a string of small actions, the more it automates them into solid habits. When good days return, you can easily level up your system, but the foundation is always unbroken repetition. Looking back, we tend to admire people who do it all, imagining they're somehow superhuman. But in reality, they just have an extremely resilient system, one that works no matter how many bad days life throws their way. That's true strength. Not thriving on your best days, but staying steady even at your lowest. So, design your system not for your best days, but for your most exhausted days. That way, big goals won't remain a fantasy. They'll be something you steadily draw closer to every single day, rain or shine. 5. Principle 3. Remove the principle 3. Remove the Band-Aid. Band-Aid. Even if you maintain a steady rhythm, you won't go far if you only keep patching up problems without addressing the root cause. That's where the third principle comes in. Remove the Band-Aid. Dare to face your deepest underlying issues. Imagine you have a small wound on your leg. Instead of cleaning, disinfecting, and tending to it until it heals, you just quickly slap on a Band-Aid to numb the pain so you can keep running after work. Responsibilities and everyday chaos. As time goes by, the wound doesn't heal. It starts to swell and get infected. You respond by putting on a bigger, thicker Band-Aid, hoping the wound will disappear without ever facing it. But eventually, you realize all the Band-Aids only cover the symptoms. They never heal the root problem. We build systems in our lives in the same way. Most people are used to quick fixes, using temporary Band-Aids to deal with whatever problem surfaces. When we're tired, we try to take a quick 15-minute nap to regain energy. When we notice ourselves getting distracted, we set a 25-minute timer to focus, then take a break. These solutions aren't bad. They're like Band-Aids, essential to ease the pain and help us keep going. But if you stop there, you'll find your personal system becoming heavier and more dependent over time. You end up carrying around a dozen Band-Aids, productivity apps, timers, coffee shots for alertness, breathing techniques for stress, and so on. Behind every Band-Aid is a wound that hasn't been healed. You're always busy with your tools, but the true root of the problem remains untouched. Why is that? Most of us only address the symptoms. We're afraid to look straight at the root cause. You take a nap to stay awake, but every night you're up past midnight scrolling or trying to de-stress from unresolved work stress. You use alarms to force focus, but never build up your attention skills. Your phone notifications and messages still interrupt any time. You tell yourself, just push a little more, but you never truly change your diet, exercise, rest, or overall lifestyle. The result? You live in a state of just enough not to collapse, but never truly feel light or free. Your system becomes increasingly overloaded with Band-Aids, making every small change a struggle. You always have to watch out for yourself, fearing that if you lose even one support tool, you'll fall apart immediately. The solution isn't to throw away all your Band-Aids. They're valuable in the short term, helping you survive tough days and emergencies. But to reach long-term goals, you need the courage to remove the Band-Aid and face the root cause. If you're always tired, ask yourself, am I really sleeping enough? Eating nutritiously, moving my body properly? If you're constantly distracted, try a digital detox. Set device curfews. Train your attention span. If you're often irritable or emotionally out of control, dig deeper. Is it pent-up pressure, lack of communication, or unresolved anxiety? Only by cleaning the wound, even if it means a bit more pain in the short term, can you build a lighter, more sustainable system that doesn't depend on a dozen supporting conditions. I have a friend named Richard, an office worker who constantly complained about fatigue and lack of focus. He tried everything: more coffee, reminder apps, multiple alarms to prevent overwork, but nothing changed. During a health check, his doctor asked about his sleep, and he realized he averaged only 5 hours a night, waking up at 3 or 4 a.m. Once he adjusted his sleep by going to bed earlier, reducing blue light, and cutting caffeine late in the day, his energy improved dramatically and his focus returned. At this point, Band-Aids became optional support, not crutches he couldn't live without. Applying the remove the Band-Aid principle to system building means you combine two approaches. Still use temporary solutions when needed, but simultaneously rebuild the foundation. Sleep well, manage your environment, detox your attention, and take care of your emotions. Your personal system then becomes lighter, more flexible, and stable long-term. You're no longer terrified of losing a support tool because your foundation is solid, your wounds are healed, and every tool becomes a nice-to-have, not a must-have. In Stoic philosophy, wise thinkers like Cleanthes once said, "Fate guides the willing and drags the unwilling." Instead of living with layer upon layer of Band-Aids, be brave enough to peel them off and heal the real wound. When you do, every goal becomes easier. Self-development feels lighter, and life is less stressful and more free. Band-Aids can help you get through the day, but only when you remove them and heal the root can you truly go further and more sustainably. That is courage, mindfulness, and the greatest gift you can give yourself on any journey to a successful system. The optimization cycle. 6. The optimization cycle. The 3 principles are only the starting point. To turn all these principles into real results, you need an ongoing action method. That's when the optimization cycle comes in. It's this loop of try, fail, adjust that lets your system live, operate, and grow long-term. Imagine a future version of yourself just a year from now. You wake up in the morning feeling light and in control, knowing exactly what you'll do today. No longer burdened by unfinished promises from the past. Your work is steady, your health stable, good habits run on autopilot, and there's no more exhausting inner battle. That's not a distant dream. It's the result of one thing. You know how to build and optimize your action system in a repeatable cycle. This optimization cycle is the secret to escaping the try again loop. Instead of jumping into an exciting plan, falling short, and blaming yourself, you learn to observe, adjust, and find solutions that actually fit your real life, not some ideal model. The cycle consists of 2 repeating steps. Step 1. Find the lowest friction. Low-effort solution. Don't start with grand commitments. Ask, what can I do with the least effort that still points me in the right direction? For example, if you want to exercise but always feel heavy, start by just changing into your workout clothes every morning. No need for the gym yet, just get dressed. If you want to learn a language, try listening to a 5-minute podcast while washing dishes instead of a 1-hour study session every night. The key here, lower all barriers so the action becomes natural and non-threatening for your brain and body. Step 2. Analyze why it might fail. When you try a new solution, some days it will break down. You're tired, something urgent comes up, or you're simply bored. Instead of giving up, sit down and ask, why couldn't I do it today? Was the schedule too tight? Was the environment unsuitable? Was your energy too low at that time? This step requires honesty, no self-judgment, and a mindset of observing rather than blaming. Afterward, go back to step 1. Adjust your solution to make it even lower friction. Maybe shift to mornings when you're alert. Reduce the number of tasks, shorten the time, or attach the new habit to an existing one. Repeat this cycle. Find a solution. Try analyze failure. Adjust until you discover a system that fits you. Not too hard, not too easy to quit, and can be maintained even when your schedule changes. Let me share about my friend Tom. He wanted to build a reading habit but always quit after a few days because he was exhausted and sleepy at night. First solution, read for 30 minutes before bed. After a week, he managed only 2 out of 7 days due to fatigue. Failure analysis. Nighttime is a dead zone for energy. Adjustment. Try reading during breakfast or while waiting for the bus. Just 10 to 15 minutes at a time. Repeat. If that still isn't stable, change the goal to just 2 pages a day and link the reading habit to his morning coffee. Result. After a month, reading became second nature. No longer a burden or willpower battle. The optimization cycle not only helps you improve, but also frees up energy for what matters most. When your system runs smoothly, you stop fighting yourself every day and stop wasting willpower on repetitive, meaningless decisions. Neuroscience has proven the human brain gets tired quickly when forced to make endless decisions, and will automatically prioritize familiar low actions. Duhigg 2012. The Power of Habit. An optimized system gives your brain the easiest path so you can save willpower for more important choices. What's interesting is that this optimization process teaches patience and self-direction. Instead of expecting perfection from the start, you learn to try, fail, adjust without disappointment. Every breakdown is valuable data to make your system more tailored to you. In life, applying the optimization cycle also means letting go of perfectionism. You don't need superhuman discipline or infinite motivation. You just need to keep observing, adjusting, and accepting that small failures are a natural part of growth. You need to decide who you want to become. But to achieve that, you must take small steps, constantly experimenting and tweaking until you find what fits you best. Imagine a year from now if you patiently build and optimize your system with this cycle. You'll have a lighter, more proactive life, progressing automatically without force, free from the burden of procrastination or failure. Start by finding the smallest, easiest solution and be ready to adjust whenever it stops working. That's the only way to turn big goals into reality, sustainably and freely. To truly reach your goals. Conclusion. You can't just rely on willpower. You need to see the whole picture, build a sustainable system, optimize every tiny link, and constantly tweak things when you fail. The 3 principles of systems, thinking holistic, repetitive, and removing the band-aid, are the foundation that makes change automatic, no longer dependent on fickle motivation. The optimization cycle lets you keep discovering what works, turning every big goal into a sustainable habit through small, realistic, and easy steps. You don't need to be a superhero. Just observe, adjust, and persist, and you'll find your journey is lighter, freer, and full of joy. Starting today, are you brave enough to build a system for yourself? Begin with the first step, and don't hesitate to share your process, struggles, or small victories in the comments. I'll always be here to watch, support, and grow with you every day. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share this video, and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next videos on Stoic philosophy appearing at the end of this screen so you never miss the journey of self-development with us.